Welcome back to Stutter Chats. We have a special guest today, professional fighter who has been in multiple fights in bare knuckles, also in the UFC, in the special championship with the Dana White's fight championship, and her name is Kathryn Paprocki. Am I saying that right?
Yeah,
Awesome. How are you today?
I'm good, guys. How are you?
Doing great, doing great.
Doing good, doing good.
Awesome. Oh,
All right, so Catherine, so we seen a couple of your clips and your personality beams. So just giving you flowers when it comes to your personality. It shines throughout the screen. It shines most definitely. Uh, Question I have for you. Uh, uh, what first inspired you to get into fighting? And was there a moment or person that sparked your passion?
first off, thank you.
Uh,
This is like many interviews. I used to not be as confident and
mm,
comfortable,
Yeah.
but a lot of practice for sure.
Mhm.
mm,
Um, my husband fought first.
Okay.
He was incredible, awesome fighter. He was a glory kickboxer as well, so high up. And Steven and I actually opened up a gym together and seeing everybody training, I was just kind of like intrigued by it. Definitely not something I ever thought I would get into. But just being around it and trying it, I was like, I kind of like this. It's pretty cool to punch somebody. Not
Yeah.
always cool to get punch back, but that's just a part of it. So yeah, just got into it because of him. So
That's awesome. And he seems like someone that's very inspired you into becoming on who you are today. I did some research on yourself, and he seems like a great person. He seems like he very supports you. And that's as somebody who stutters, we do need that support. And I could see that from your pictures. He seems like a great guy. So that's awesome. It's always good to have somebody around you like that.
he's amazing. We've been married for 10 years
Wow.
now.
Congrats.
Yeah. So he is, man. He's my cheerer, he's my supporter. Um Funny thing though, his grandfather was a stutterer. So one of the first things we kind of connected on was I had gone to explain to him that uh, stutter. And he was like, no problem, like totally fine. And it was great feeling like that space was already comfortable. And he just kind of understood how to handle it. And too, like his grandfather was a lawyer. He's one of the smartest people that he knows. And so he never had that like false, like I stutter because I'm not smart or I'm not confident. That he was like, nah, man, like cool.
Mhm.
So yeah, he has been amazing.
That's awesome. He already has the experience with dealing with that, so like he
Yeah.
understands where you're coming from, and
Yeah,
that's awesome. But let's go back to your younger life and all that stuff.
let's do it.
When did you realize? Uh, uh, when did you realize that Catherine was a stutterer? How did you find out, or like how did your family find out yourself?
So my mom remembers me stuttering at like a super early age, like around 2 or 3. I don't think I got like officially diagnosed until I was a bit older. Um, my mom though always made it very normal. She was always very um patient with me, very understanding. So I realized that I stuttered early, I don't think I started having negative feelings about it though, or feeling embarrassed about it until probably middle school,
Yeah.
which in fairness is a horrible time for everybody. Like everyone's hormonal and we're judgy and nuts, right? So right? But then
No, for sure.
I started noticing like, oh, like people are judging me for this. And not I even feel like when I look back at my experience, like I made it so much bigger and so much scarier for myself than I feel like other people ever did. Like, yes, I've had negative experiences, but for the most part, like, I think people are just, they want to like help you speak. Um, it's not always like bad, but like the feelings that you feel are so intense and uncomfortable that like that's what starts to be so scary and hard.
I definitely agree. Sometimes we make it more than what it is. Uh, Definitely making more than it is. Question for you. As a woman in the fighting industry, how important is it for, I guess, women as well as children, to learn self-defense? You see what I mean? Because I see you in it. Like, how important is that? You know?
I think it's huge. I actually teach a self defense course for a few of the colleges here. I think that everybody should know how to protect
Definitely.
themselves. I also think like it's powerful to know how to use your body. It's kind of incredible when you start to train. Like I didn't even know that I could do certain stuff. And too like just how powerful you are. So yeah, I think it's huge. I have a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old daughter, and my biggest goal was for them to feel confident that if anything happens, like they could handle it. And I feel like everybody should feel that. There is a great security in knowing like if things go down, I'm throwing down.
So listen, I have to go back and say you have a 15-year-old and 13-year-old when you look like you're about 22.
Okay, well, first off, thank you. Second off, I'm their stepmom. I met them when they were 3 and like a year old, so tiny, tiny
Okay.
kids.
Yeah, yeah.
But yes, no, thank you, young hot mom.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Thank you.
Definitely. But just going back to uh, growing up with Stutter and stuff like that, you think you becoming a fighter influenced that for you? Because as we said earlier, middle school, high school, it was tough for me. I had moments where I had to talk in front of my class for a current event. And of course, I hated it at the moment, but I do praise my teacher at that moment because he knew I stuttered. But like, he also didn't want me to be shy about it. He didn't want me to be holding myself back. So like, he forced me to go up every Friday to be the first one to talk in front of everybody. And I took it in a positive way. And many years later, I was so with the thumbs up I got over here. But but just I feel like when you're in middle school, high school, we get bullied, and because kids do not understand what a stutter is, and maybe I just feel like maybe fighting made up was part of that of you growing up. That's why you got into fighting because of that reason, or not?
So outside of a paid contractual fight, I've never fought anybody ever, and I will never fight you unless you pay me to fight you. First off, okay? Um, Second off, I think a few things about stuttering though made me the fighter that I am today.
Mm.
I was reminiscing on stuttering, kind of getting prepared for our chat. And I was thinking about just, I have probably gotten up and stuttered through something and felt crappy about it 100 times, if not more. And I have gotten back up the next day and kept talking.
Yeah.
And that resiliency, I think, that has just been ingrained in me that, like, no matter what, I will keep at it. That has made me an incredible, not only fighter, but just a human. And I do think that being a good athlete is very intertwined with like who you are. Um,
Mm.
so I I would say that that has made me just a very resilient person. Um, I have many memories of being a young kid and giving presentations in front of the class too. I have many that went great and I have many that I cried through. And I think that being able to experience something hard and then get back up again and keep going after it anyway is such a strengthening process. And as a fighter, man, I have lost. I've been in some hard spots and I keep coming back. So I think that those things are definitely intertwined. I also commend like your teacher. I think I had teachers at times that were almost too easy on me. Maybe they didn't want to like she cries every freaking time and I don't want to deal with cat crying, right? But I think that that's a great positive thing too. And I think that there is a balance between making somebody who stutters continue to have to practice. However, that can be like a great positive process too. So, yeah.
Definitely shout out. And shout out Mr. G,
Woo!
my teacher. Shout out him. We gotta get him a little shout out.
Awesome.
Sorry, Katherine, I want to necessarily give an attachment to that question. Have you ever was frustrated because of a stutter and took it out on an opponent? Not saying, you know what, I had a bad day conversation. I'm gonna take it out.
Good day. No, I really stay away from being emotional when I fight at all. I think as an athlete, you have to kind of separate those things when you're emotional, mad, excited, sad, happy. Those can all kind of throw off stuff. I'm very focused. I'm very like on one goal, on one task. And two, again, like I have had such wonderful, positive, supportive feedback. The more I speak and am open about that I stutter, um, people are super like cool about it and super like kind. Very few people have I ever had that said anything negative. I had like somebody on the Ultimate Fighter, like they had made a post about me talking
Hmm.
about it. And they were like, um, they said something like, that stutter's fake. And I was just like, oh, like, okay, like, yes, I'm stuttering. This has been really fun since I feel like that kind of feedback comes with anything. Um, I would say the worst that I have ever gotten, I was pretty young. I had heard you guys talking about this on your first podcast show, that your hardest words to say was your names. And growing up, I was not a Paprocki. I was a Williams. See, it's still coming back to home,
Hard. It's
man.
hard. It's still hard. Reason why you changed it.
Dude, right? I was like, Paprocki, I'm marrying you.
I can say it
Yeah.
perfectly.
But people would say like very arrogant things of like you don't even know your own name. But the minute I was like, I have a stutter, they were like, I'm an asshole. Like, I am so sorry. Right. So also too, it's like I educated that person on maybe like don't say rude things. Like
Yeah,
maybe you don't know what's going on, and like
definitely.
shit. Yeah, yeah.
No,
So,
for sure, yeah. And just bouncing off that, I feel like when I do talk to somebody uh, and I meet them for the first time, of course, they're not. A lot of people do not know what a stutter is or know how it looks like or stuff like that.
Mm.
I usually give the benefit of the doubt to people when I first meet them because it might be the first time, that they do interact with somebody that does stutter. And going back to what you're saying, that um, people just need to be patient and understand that everybody has their flaws, and that's one thing in my mind, and I've lived with for the past like probably 5-6 years of my life, that everybody's different in their own ways. How I see you, Catherine, is not the same way that Brandon will see you, or your husband will see you, or like how Brandon sees me, not the same way my brother will see me, or my mom will see me. And I feel just having that mindset, um, really, really made me understand who I am and made me understand other people if they do have some sort of disability or some speech impediment and stuff like that. So yeah, that's
yeah. And two, guys, like being fluent or not doesn't make you good at communication, right?
yeah,
Like being able to communicate your point and to like get what you're saying across is not solely based on if it came out smooth or fluent. And
yeah,
so our full goal isn't to be fluent, it's so that people can hear us and we
hmm
can communicate. And I am perfectly accepting and understanding of that. Like, I am a stutterer and I am going to be forever. And my goal is not to not stutter. My goal is just to be able to at least communicate. And some days are easier than others, right? But
for sure.
that's my main goal. And I know plenty of people who don't stutter, who do not communicate well at all. And so being able to kind of separate that too, I think helps taking like some of the pressure off. As well as I was born in the 90s.
Oh,
And I remember when I could like text my friends, I was like, this is a godsend. No more home phone line, like, hi, is so and so there? And then like, hello, hello. And I'm like, stop. Right, right, right. But now, like, we have email, we have text, we have chat. Like, there are so many wonderful, beautiful ways now, too, to start making that communication happen. And it isn't all just having to speak, which I think is amazing and it's beautiful. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Question for you. I'm gonna add on to the which method do you prefer? Because you're a communicator, and I see the which method do you prefer? Do you say, hey, you know what, I'm gonna opt to go text, email, or do you say, hey, you know what, I like the element of actually somebody interacting with me directly, and we're able to bounce stuff off each other?
Okay, so a few parts to this, all right? So I love being in person. In person is like the best for me. I'm a lot more relaxed as well. Speaking on the phone is something I only pretty recently started to explore more. I kind of set a goal that like I wanted to be able to do certain stuff. So I have been practicing. Um I mean, obviously, I love to like text. I think that's like the greatest thing ever, mainly because, like, my mouth at times is so tired, and I'm like, my cheek hurts because I like chomped on it when I got stuck on something,
right.
and like my neck is sore, right? So sometimes, too, just not even having that, not necessarily stressed, but like strain, it's just enjoyable. And then again, I am practiced at this type of setting. I used to really, really struggle though. Even though we can still see each other, there's something about not being in person that I've always struggled. So too, like just practicing stuff that I'm like answering the phone is horrible and I'm gonna practice. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, for sure. I used to try to avoid as much talking on the phone, but now I prefer talking on the phone, get the answer. I can't wait for somebody to text me back anymore. I have to get an answer quick, and
I like it. Yeah, it's awesome.
but one question before our final question. How has it been with? I know you said it earlier. The fans have been very cool, but I want to get deeper into that question. Like, how do the fans interact with you? How has that been with the fans? Because I know we have younger kids who do look up to you, Katherine. I'm pretty sure because you are a fighter, and people do aspire to be a fighter. And I'm sure with your journey as being a stutterer, and a lot of kids do look up to you. How has that been? As in that field, that area?
I think it's an honor. My coach and I talk a lot about that pressure is a privilege, and that applies for me everywhere. I feel that it is my responsibility as a stutterer to use the platform that I have to just get the word out there.
Mhm.
I feel the amount of people now that like know I stutter and they like pause now and they like wait for me
Yeah,
is incredible. And if you can think of me and you're like, oh, I know that stutterer
yeah,
who's super cool. If you meet someone now that maybe has a stutterer, you're gonna be a little more patient.
definitely.
And again, like I've always gotten great positive stuff back when I was on The Ultimate Fighter.
Mm,
Being on a show was something I never thought I would ever do.
yeah,
But even within that, like being able to educate the people around me about it, it was just huge. So I think too, just like enjoying that I have a platform to speak
mm,
about something and to bring awareness to something that when I was a kid, I didn't know anybody that stuttered. I didn't meet a stutterer until I was
yeah,
an adult.
yeah.
And when I was a young girl, if I could have just seen a woman thriving in her life while having a stutter, I think it could have helped me a lot earlier.
Definitely.
And so I just think it's important. So,
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's with your platform. I feel that's as people that do stutter. I feel like having your platform will definitely make a big change on a lot of kids who do not have that person that does stutter. Because also going back to like, I did have speech therapy. I did have a friend when I was younger that did stutter, but he was a couple grades higher than me, and I really had a friendship with him as good. But how I met Brandon. Brandon right now is having some sort of technical difficulties, but I met Brandon to a NSA
yes.
um group here in Miami, and him and we just both clicked with each other, and we became good friends, and our love for sports and just like he became a good friend of mine for the past couple of years, and that's why we both got together in this. And our goal is to spread stuttering and spread more awareness. And that's why like I'm looking for people in different professions in stuttering. Like, and I feel like um this is more for our younger selves.
Yeah.
I want the younger self of me to understand that look, even though I might have a stutter, oh look, I've seen this video of this fighter called Kathryn that does stutter. She has a video out there. Oh, there's another video out there of a hockey player that does stutter. And I feel like when we were young, we were missing that.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
and just to end this off, one question that I want to ask all my interviewers, just to finish it off. If you could share one message to anybody who's struggling with stuttering, what would it be?
What would it be? I would say choose your hard. And what I mean by that is stuttering is hard, right? Not being able to order what you want from the drive-through is hard.
Definitely.
Not
Yeah.
being able to talk to people that you would like to is hard. And so growth is also hard, right?
Yeah, definitely.
They're both equally hard. So choose the hard that's going to help you grow. Find those safe people and allow them to support you, allow them to help you practice, to talk confidence into you, and keep growing because you owe it to yourself that you deserve to be heard. And so, yeah, man, choose your hard. And again, like growing up, I felt alone. And I think it is so important now to just spread the word like you're not alone. There are many of us, and we are thriving and happy.
Yeah.
And that tiny kid that couldn't ask for, I used to wander around the store for hours because I would not ask them, like,
Yeah.
where this item is.
Yeah.
But like it gets better and people are great. And so just like, man, choose your heart and grow. Grow,
Awesome.
grow.
Just grow, grow, grow. That's what Captain. I do appreciate you coming on to our podcast. I know you have a lot of stuff going on, being a fighter, all the training, all the ice baths, all that good stuff, all that good stuff. But I do appreciate you coming into us, into our podcast. And if you ever want to chat, if you ever want to talk, or know somebody else that does stutter, always guide them to our way. We'll try to and keep bringing you. I keep bringing you. I found you for a reason, and I feel that, and I feel like you're meant to be on this podcast to share your view and your point on stuttering, and keep inspiring. And that's all I can say. And keep inspiring. And I love this interview. It was great.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very
Awesome interview. Awesome. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You guys so much.
Course.
Who would have thought that we three would be chatting away on the podcast?
Look at it. For sure. All right, guys. All right, Kathryn. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day, great night.
Thank you.
I know you have the rest of the day because you're in Colorado right now, right? All right. And tell your husband, he's a great guy, and
Thank you.
have him keep inspiring you. You inspire him too, for sure. So
Always.
right? Always. You guys push each other. All right. All right. Take care, guys.